This is a call for an uprising. Welcome to today's show. Well, right in Newsweek, right in the headline here, they tell you exactly what I've been saying, exactly what we all know is going on. Yet people still continue to see this stuff with blinders on and refuse to believe it's real. Headline: Number of witches rises dramatically across the U.S. as millennials reject Christianity. Now, why do you think that is? Is it because of all the stuff that I show on this channel where they make witches look cool and all these TV shows and everything's about magic, from the Magic Kingdom to all these programs directed to kids, or even stuff like this? Take a look.
Be the greatest wizard of them all with the Harry Potter Wizard Training Wands.
Locomotor!
With training and practice.
Locomotor! Yeah!
You'll be ready for any challenge. Train with another wizard to practice your skills. With 11 spells to master and 5 modes of play. Each wizard training wand includes one spell chart. Additional ones sold separately.
Hi, we're here to show you how to cast spells like a wizard using the new Harry Potter Wizard Training Wands. You can play on your own or challenge a friend.
Each wand responds to your movements and has a unique sound when you cast a spell correctly. There are 5 modes of play and 11 different spells to learn.
You can practice and perfect the spells by yourself with the included spell chart.
You can also play with a friend who has a wizard training wand to practice and test the skills you have learned.
Let's get started by learning the 5 modes of play. First, let's learn how to cast a spell in spell training mode. After the wand is calibrated, hit the button on the top to enter spell training mode. In this mode, the buttons will light up, indicating which spell to cast. Locate the light pattern on the spell chart to indicate which spell to cast. The wand will play a sound specific to the spell you've just casted. Arrest momentum, followed by a correct sound. If incorrect, the wand will play a fizzle sound, and you will attempt the spell again. If you would like to skip a spell, you can hit the spell training mode button at any time to get a different light pattern. This mode will continue to play immediately so that you can memorize all the spell patterns. The second mode of play is spell practice mode. You'll need another wizard training wand user.
Stand a few feet apart from each other with nothing blocking your view. Eye contact is essential for spell casting. On one wand, press the spell practice mode button, the second from the top. Do the same on the other wand. Both wands should begin a countdown showing the same pattern.
At the end of the countdown, press and hold the cast button and draw the spell pattern in the air with the wands pointed at each other. Let go of the cast button when finished.
The wands will determine who performed the spell fastest and most accurately and play a melody to announce the winner of the round. Wingardium Leviosa!
Yeah!
To keep playing and practicing with your opponent, repeat the same steps, starting with pressing the spell practice mode button.
The next mode is training spells mode. This mode of play is similar to the spell practice, but this time you will just use 5 training spells on the bottom of your spell chart. The winner of each round gets a point, and the first wizard to 5 points wins. Like spell practice mode, stand a few feet apart with nothing between you. At the same time, press the training spells button, which is the third button down on both wands.
Each wizard chooses one of the 5 training spells patterns. The wands will play the spell sounds and award the winner a point with the sound and by lighting up one of the buttons on the wand. If there is a tie or the spell is cast incorrectly, the fizzle sound effect will be heard and no point is awarded. Keep casting spells and the first to get 5 points wins. The next mode is a little more active, Wizard Tag. Press the Wizard Tag button. Your 5 buttons will light up, indicating your hit points. Point your wand at another wizard and press the cast button. The wand will cast out a tag spell. If it hits another wizard in wizard tag mode, then they will lose a hit point and 1 light will go out on their wand. Keep casting spells at the other wizard, trying to make them lose their hit points. If you lose all of your hit points, you're out of the game. However, you can use your wizarding skills to get back in the game by simply holding down the cast button and drawing counterclockwise circles in the air to rewind time and watch your hit points come back. Then you are back in the game. Wizard Tag can be played with as many people as have wizard training wands.
The last mode of play for the wizard training wands is free play mode. You're able to cast all 11 spells whenever you want. Turn on free play mode, then press and hold the cast button and draw any of the spells you have learned in the air and get a unique sound for that spell.
Try free play mode to practice the most challenging spells. Try Alohomora to open locks, or Wingardium Leviosa, a charm that can levitate things. Just be sure to get your pronunciation right.
5 modes of play, 11 spells. It's all you need to learn how to cast spells like a wizard.
You can practice and perfect your skills alone or with a fellow wizard who also has a wizard training wand.
Hey, wanna play wizard tag again?
Could these be the types of things that make millennials and the generation below them reject Christianity? Because the characters that they constantly portray on television as Christians are always dorky, right? Acting weird and different, dressed weird, right? Always jumping at things like, oh, now you have to stay a virgin. All these things that they push the youth to want to do, it's from having sex and all this stuff, drugs and drinking and having a good time. They always have the Christian characters step in and look like this bigot who's boring and hateful, right? And then they have Charmed and Harry Potter and all these other shows that make the witches and the Satanists look cool. Meanwhile, people out there are like, yeah, I'd rather be a witch. They don't even realize that the core of, witchcraft and black magic revolves around human sacrifice, pedophilia. Nah, they just seem to forget that. So Newsweek talking about how witches are on the rise, and I've covered this in years past. They're constantly telling us these things about witches and how this stuff is on the rise, and Christianity is a dying breed. It says witchcraft and other pagan religious practices increased in the U.S. over the past few decades, with millennials turning to astrology and tarot cards as they turn away from Christianity and other traditionally dominant Abrahamic religions. The number of witches and Americans practicing Wicca religious rituals increased dramatically since the 90s, and several recent studies indicate that there may be at least 1.5 million witches across the U.S. 1.5 million. I highly doubt that. I bet there are many, many more. All right, they're still going to make it seem like the witches are being dominated by the Christians and everyone's a Christian. They always try to portray that because most witches and Satanists pretend to be Christian. That's how it works. For people out there who always write comments on my wall and they say, you're always covering the stuff with the children. Why don't you ever cover the church? Because the Catholic Church and the Vatican are satanic. Because the people pretending to be Christian and Catholic and all these other denominations are Satanists in disguise. Read books, study how this works. This is part of the deception. Right? Oh, they're good people in the neighborhood. Oh, they go to church every Sunday. They would never be the type of person that would do a satanic ritual and kill a child or abuse a child. It's all part of the deception, and that's why God tells us that these people are of their father, the devil. These people are nothing but liars. It says with 1.5 million potential practicing witches across the U.S., witchcraft has more followers than the 1.4 million mainline members of the Presbyterian Church. Data collected by a research center in Trinity College in Connecticut show witchcraft and pre-Christian traditions have been revitalized by young adults. Millennials are seeking more freedom in their spirituality, and interest in astrology and tarot card readings have spiked in recent years. I wonder why. Is it because you open every newspaper and they have these stupid astrology readings? Or you just go to Google or Yahoo and they try to push the astrology reading on you, or every magazine in the store is pushing it, or every TV show like the Kardashians right on down the list. They're always visiting, what do you call these people? Psychics and stuff like that, and doing the tarot card stuff every show. So I wonder why it's on the rise. I wonder why more people are doing it. Or they're showing you this stuff, like I said, in the Harry Potter, and shows you the clip of these kids doing magic spells. I mean, this is insanity. Insanity. How just laid back and how we've allowed this to happen. Because these people 100 years ago, guess what would be going on? You know what would be going on. I can't say it because it'll be hate speech, but it involves fire. All right? Boy, oh boy. So as the studies go on here, they just continue to talk about, it says it makes sense that witchcraft and the occult would rise as society becomes increasingly postmodern. The rejection of Christianity has left a void that people as inherently spiritual beings will seek to fill. So that's why they're telling you. They're not telling you about the mind control. They're not telling you how everything that you see that's being pushed on every child out there and every millennial talks about magic and witchcraft. From every single Disney movie I mean, it's insane how in our faces this is. But no, they couldn't be influenced by that because, people like to pretend that they're not influenced by this stuff. They're like, I like the movie, but I'm not influenced by it because they're idiots. They have no idea. They're just so prideful. They're like, I would never be influenced by it. What's Kim Kardashian wearing today? Oh, a blood facial? Let me try. I heard it's anti-aging. Oh, but I'm not doing it because I'm worshiping Kim Kardashian. I'm doing it because I heard it could help with my wrinkles. She said so, and then so did some doctor from Harvard who no one knows. Boy. It says, despite the rise in practicing witches, the U.S. is still dominated by Christianity. See? Just like I said earlier in the article. See how easy it is to predict this stuff? Still dominated by Christianity, which composes 70% of the country's religious population. Give me a break. Yeah, 70% Christians. You got probably 20% of that statistic, if that was true. You might as well say half that's lukewarm, and then the rest of them are probably New Age, and then the other percent are Satanists pretending to be Christian, and witches pretending to be Christian, deceiving people. It says, throughout history, a rise in fear has been matched with a rise of adherence to belief systems, whether that comes in the form of mainstream religion or other alternatives. So then they're saying, hey, there's a rise. The rise in fear is because of, the stigmatas and stuff that Christians have. It's a joke. They are turning people into practicing witchcraft. They are making children want to practice it. And then they're putting out shows like The Real O'Neills and all these awful shows that nobody watches, but, a few amount will. But I mean, the ratings are horrible because the shows are just crap. But they go, we don't care if we lose money on it because we print money. We just have to have the propaganda out there for anyone who's flipping the channels so that in the back of their head they can see these Christian characters in church be hypocrites, right? Raising a gay son and being, just total hypocrites in everything that they do in their life and then always doing the Christian guilt and being like, I'm not a good enough, right? It's always the same story. It's always the same propaganda. And this is how they convince all the millennials and everyone out there to not want to be Christians. Pretty simple, pretty sick, and pretty sad, the world we live in. I thank you for listening to today's show. Let's do what we can to stop the rise of witches. I've had all I can take of witches and Satanists. They like to brew things, right? Is that the stare? Oh, they like to do their rituals and they have to make a big brew in their cauldron. Yeah, I got something you could put in your brew. It's coming right out of my rectum. I thank you for listening to today's show. God bless all of you and your families.